that sticking to a couple of important rules help more than anything.
You know, it goes back to that saying, there's people in your life that are there for a reason or a season. You know?
Everyone who crosses your path is there for a reason. The special sauce that I have of running a business is because I have ADHD, because my energy is everlasting. Look at all the things on mine today.
See, that's executive function.
Yeah, but don't ask me. I never get to everything on my list.
I know, but that's executive function. See, because I create lists and I don't even look at it. It's thinking through scenarios and problems and conversations.
I do that. I try not to do that a lot when I'm going to bed, because then I'll have to grab my phone and make notes. And as soon as I see the light of a phone, my eyes will.
Welcome to this edition of the Balanced CEO podcast. I'm excited to have my friend Shannen here today. She is a retired nurse, right? Officially retired now.
Retired officially.
Retired nurse from Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
She also runs her own CPR business, teaching businesses like mine and my gyms how to do CPR and perform life-saving maneuvers, as well as using things like AEDs to make sure that our members are safe. Mm-hmm. You run businesses in both Texas and California, correct?
And most other states.
Okay, so you run a business that takes you all over the country.
Yeah, but I'm from California, so a lot of the businesses in California.
Mm-hmm.
We live in Texas, and I've always had business in Texas before we ever moved to Texas. But then the industries I work in, which are wind, solar, law enforcement, I work with a lot of different industry. They tend to be in certain parts of the country.
Okay.
Like wind is sounds funny to say it, but in windy areas. And so not every part of the country is ideal. So they're usually in areas that border states or on the water, areas where they would get a lot of energy generation, you know.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So tell me a little bit more about what got you into nursing? Was that something you decided early on, or was that something you were in college and you decided nursing was the thing you wanted to do?
Nursing wasn't the thing I wanted to do at first. I actually wanted to be a medical examiner.
Really?
And I was lucky that the reason I got hired by Kaiser was because they had an opening in the pathology department, which is the medical examiner's office. And I was able to work in that department for a year and realize, even though the science was amazing and I still love the science, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but the people that work there are kind of odd. And there's no windows, usually in a basement. The only people you see that come in are crying. They're getting second opinion slides to go to another hospital, or someone passed away, an infant passed away, and you're coming to pick up. So my personality did not mesh with everything being a downer and sad and closed in all the time with no sunshine. And they ended up eliminating the position I was in, and they had to move me to a different department. I ended up in emergency, which is where I stayed the whole rest of my career. I realized, well, this is it. I'll just be a nurse instead. I was already in school, so I just got my nurse degree and stayed at Kaiser for 32 years. So
this is essentially an internship.
No, it was a real job.
Oh, so it was a real job. It was a paid job.
Happened to have an opening. Yeah, and I always think that if I hadn't had that chance where it just kind of stumbled in my lap,
right,
I would have graduated. I would have finished all those years of school. You have to be a physician to do it, to figure out that it wasn't exactly what I wanted. You never know how life is what path you're going to follow, and how that person happened to drop in my lap. Literally, a person said, "That's what you're studying? There's an opening at my wife's job. You should look into it." And I was like, sure, that's amazing. And then figured out pretty fast, this is not really what I want to do. I mean, I love the science of it, but in order to do the science of it, you have to work with people and, go to work and deal with everything else. And I just didn't want it.
That goes back to that saying, there's people in your life that are there for a reason or a season. So,
Everyone who crosses your path is there for a reason. You may not know the reason right now. And sometimes when you're in the pits of sorrow and everything has happened for a reason, it's hard to know that there was a reason.
It's interesting. I wrote my book like that. I wrote it with the key takeaways at the beginning of every chapter, because I wanted people to be able to get used to finding the silver lining in any situation. Mm. So they could read the book after knowing what the key takeaways are and find where I got that takeaway from through my life experiences, and start to be able to identify those silver linings, those reasons, those positive reasons in the worst situations in real time.
And when you're in what you perceive as a low position in your life, it's hard to see that sometimes even being at the lowest part gives you that kick to go higher, and nothing can be lower than where you are. But at the moment, you're stuck in that rut and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, right? But everything happens for a reason. I've always believed that.
So, I mean, I know you well enough to know ER definitely fits your vibe. Like, you're just so calm but energized. Like, so you have the energy to match the chaos, but you're so calm in terms of the way you speak. So, like, people that are in a traumatic experience hear you talking to them, they're going to probably calm down a little bit, right? So, do you feel like that helped? Like, just having that calm demeanor, like just that approachable voice in a world of chaos?
Well, I only met you, probably 10 years ago or something? But you didn't know me as a young version of me where, not knowing what I know about myself now and then nonstop go, go, go. Or even when I text now, if I use my voice, it's this long run-on sentence and I realize that, nope, I didn't pause for any punctuation. That I think that speaking for a living has taught me to slow how I speak sometimes. When I'm not teaching or working and having conversations, I'm rapid fire speaking just like anyone else. But I guess I've learned that people learn in different ways and not everyone can follow when you speak fast, especially if English is their second language.
Oh, yeah.
And so speaking clearly and enunciating and slowing down, but adding humor, of course, to make people not boring. Yeah. But I haven't always, and if anyone I know ends up watching this podcast, it will laugh and say, she doesn't speak calmly, she doesn't speak smoothly, but it's kind of become who I am.
It's a learned behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I know you and I both share the commonality of ADD. So like the spitfire, like no punctuation, no chance for a breath. Like we have to get the whole thought out of our head before we can give anything a thought, or it's going to be gone.
Yes, and in that same coin, we interrupt a lot.
Yes.
Because I already know what I'm going to say, and if I don't say it now, I will forget what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And that's something that is a very, it's a negative for people who have ADD or ADHD. Yes. You have to actually consciously control the urge to interrupt.
My wife would absolutely agree that it is a negative.
Yes, so would my husband.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better. And thankfully, I don't know how people survived ADHD when they didn't even know years ago that that's what it was without digital technology. Like my calendar, my notes app, I wouldn't remember half of what I'm supposed to do or where I'm supposed to be if I didn't have that,
I think you look back, they were the most successful people in the world. I think people like Benjamin Franklin and, Nikola Tesla, I guarantee you they all had ADD. They were all just off in their own world.
You only put the label on it I think I didn't diagnose myself until I took one of my kids in to be diagnosed. And I was like, wait a second, that's me, right? And that happens a lot to people. A lot of people are diagnosed like that. But I can remember when I was young, I clearly would have qualified, but they didn't have a label.
Yeah.
And so the labels didn't come out. Well, that child was born in 2000. So it must have been like 1995 or something that the labeling came out. Otherwise, you were just distractible. You wouldn't sit still.
Problematic.
You get bored really easily.
Right. Lazy.
Start
like
little
all
fires.
The labels. Yeah. You definitely start fires. That's at least I did.
Don't finish your homework because you don't finish anything.
Yeah. I'm here for all the problems this brings and all the fights. I'm here for all of it. I believe they didn't put a label on it until pharmaceutical companies found a way to legalize methamphetamine.
Yeah. Oh.
And they realized, hey, here's an easy way to use this in a pharmaceutical way is put a label on this thing that it seems to calm down, and now we have a way to.
Right. And so this whole idea of doing this podcast and the Balanced CEO and how we're running businesses with ADHD, which people who don't have it, like my husband doesn't have it. He doesn't see why I forget so much stuff. He'll be like, this is great. It must be fun for you to learn new things every day because I just told you this yesterday and now I'm repeating myself. But, I feel like it's because you have a plate in your head and it only holds so much, but we have a platter's worth of information and not everything fits on the plate and things are going to fall off. And things that are just trivial or not that important are not going to stay on the plate. If I don't write things down, nothing happens.
Oh, I also have to care like immensely about it. If I care about it, like I love doing podcasts, I love doing media, I love animals. Like I can remember things that I should never be able to remember, but I can't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday.
Yeah. I can remember social security numbers, driver's licenses, telephone numbers, but I can't do math.
See, I can do math, but I can't remember like most people's names.
I remember people's, my brain's going to freeze up. What did we used to wear?
Oh, pager numbers?
Pager numbers. Oh my gosh. I remember those. Most people, when you're young, you can remember a lot from when you were young, right? I don't know why I can remember numbers. I'm just crazy. But I forget. I do screenshots with my phone a lot so I can try to remember stuff later, but then I don't remember why I screenshotted it.
Yeah. My thing is like I can remember a face. So if somebody's like, yeah, you've met that person before, so-and-so. Okay. And then they come in the room and I'm like, yes, I have met them before. I know exactly who that is. What's their name?
No.
And I try to remember, I'm working really hard with like the memorization stuff because I think I know it comes off aloof when people are like, how the fuck do you not remember me? It's like, bro, you aren't that famous. Like, how do you not remember me? And I'm like, it's not about seeing too many faces. It's about the fact that like, if I don't see you for a while, even my own family, like extended family, if I don't see you for a while, you basically don't exist in my brain anymore.
Yeah. And names are not my thing. Faces are my thing.
Yeah.
And I see people every other year. Well, I sometimes, like people in medical and dental, there's 3 main classes they have to take every 2 years. But most people only take 1, and I'll see them only 2 years. And I'll remember them either by their name but not what they look like, or remember what they look like but not their name. And they'll remember me. If I'm at a store in California, not anywhere else, hi! I'll be like, okay, this is either work or CPR or something. I'll just wait for them to go, oh, thanks so much for this. Or it was great to see you at work. Or, you don't realize, but most people recognize me locally from training.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't remember where I trained them.
When
I trained them.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I meet people at events and they'll be like, yeah, I met you at so-and-so. Like, we've met before. I'm like, I'm sure we have because I know your face.
Yeah.
But like where?
Right.
Give me a hint.
Yeah.
What state?
Yeah. Mine is, so they're going to take a class and they know me and I can't remember their name. I'll say, how exactly do you want your name spelled for your certification? And then they'll write their name down. I'll be like, okay, I wasn't sure if that's exactly how you spell it. Really, it's because I can't remember. And I don't want to make them feel bad because I totally remember who they are and they're like an amazing person and I love hanging out with them. I just can't remember their name. And it's not because they're not important.
Yeah.
It's because my brain is just screwed up.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of ADD. You've just entered the mind of 2 people with ADD. Like we went off on a very long tangent and that's normal. So buckle up. So let's talk a little bit more about like you're in the world of nursing.
Yeah.
You stayed in ER. When did the CPR thing come along?
So, as I just mentioned, medical and dental people, they have to take certain types of, basically a CPR, say. But they have to do it every 2 years or they'll get fired.
Okay.
So if you expire, you're going to not be able to go to work. And after 7 days later, you'll get fired. But here, like how many times was they saying, listen, you guys are expired.
Like once, maybe here or there.
Right.
It's happening once in the last 10 years.
There's no penalty at gyms. You can do it if you want to. You can only have just 2 people that know how to do it here at any time. So I also, at the time, had to also certify, right? Well, I lived in Tracy. My hospital was in Walnut Creek, and I could do it for free if I went back to my job, but I don't want to go into my job on a day off, so I would do it at the hospital here. little rural hospital we have in Tracy. $40, easy to do, right here, 5 minutes from my house. One year, it was 2006. I was supposed to take the class the next day. It was the end of the month, like today's the 26th. It was like the 25th of the month. Expiring means you get penalized, right? They called and said, or they emailed, class is canceled. And I was like, what? Someone got sick or something like that? Well, at the last minute, finding a class, and anyone who might be listening to this or watching this can attest to the fact that you can't just find a class like that at the last minute. I ended up finding a class. 1 hour I had to drive Sacramento, costed me $100, and is the last day of the month. And my hospital was like, you're going to get in trouble right now. And I was like, I just did it today, right? I was so upset. Okay. I went, luckily I'm the kind of person that goes back to a store and complains. I went back to the hospital and I was like, what the hell? You can't do that. This is part of our jobs. We're going to get fired. She's like, well, there's no one in this county that teaches. And so whatever she says goes, and that's it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go get certified. I'm going to say yes to every single person. I don't care if there's only one person. I will never do that to anybody. I had no idea that it wasn't just medical and dental. I was the only person in this whole town. I was the only person in this whole county.
You literally
oh my God, the
market
business
by accident.
Oh my gosh, the business just took off. There's so many more people here that teach now, of course, but I had to like train my best friend at the time to be an extra person. It grew so much. I had no idea the types of classes. Like I was doing healthcare classes, like for nurses. Yeah. You guys do a different kind of class, CPR with first aid, and police officers do a blend of it, and there's all kinds of different versions. PG&E does a different version. Like there's all kinds of versions. I didn't realize at the time that it would become a big part of my life. So I went on call at the hospital after about a year, and business just grew. Every year it grows, and I feel so blessed because people like coming to me and like the classes. You know, we make it easy and all this, and it's been almost 20 years.
I mean, yeah, I've been to one CPR class that felt traumatic because I think they wanted you to almost feel like you were in a life-saving moment.
Maybe.
During the class.
Also, some people, some instructors are just, they're not mean, but everyone has had classes with different types of people.
Yeah.
And some people, they'll just talk, not let you take notes. If you have to take a test or whatever, they'll make it really hard. Sometimes people will cry, not the instructor, the students. You know, it's the way they deliver it, right? And I want to teach the way I wanted to be taught. So I try to be kind to people, even if they miss the answers. I'll never say you're wrong. I'll say something like, that's one way to look at that. But think again, you know, because if you tell someone you're wrong, they will shut down and they won't even look at you. They won't listen the rest of the time because they feel embarrassed. And these are things that really not part of the class. You learn so much about people when you talk to people. You know, it's actually pretty great. I've learned, like I can have a conversation with anybody now. I mean, that's an ADHD thing, but also just speaking as a job. I can speak anywhere and I'm comfortable speaking. I'm not embarrassed. But like I'll sit on a plane and whoever's next to me, if they want to talk, I talk to them the whole entire time. We'll find something to talk about, whatever. My husband is very quiet and he's the opposite of me. He could go the whole day without talking at all. Opposites attract, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have those moments, you know, where I have this blackout, like I'm overstimulated. I can't talk for a few hours. Like I just need quiet and like no talking. Mm-hmm. But then I'm back to chatterbox.
Yeah, right. Is your wife quiet?
No.
Oh.
No, she's Portuguese and Sicilian. She's the opposite of quiet. Yeah. She's not the first to pick up a conversation in a social setting. But if you get her going, like she's very much social. She can maneuver conversations with just about anybody.
Okay. Well, you guys are kind of the same then.
It is. It's interesting. You know, it's definitely almost like an alpha thing when it comes to social.
Yeah.
You know, like once I realized she's got someone comfortable to talk to, I'm out. I'm going to go spread my wings, you know? So it's cool. But at the same time, it's like this thing like took off in 2006, so it's almost 20 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
You had kids by then, because I mean,
My kids were little. I was
gonna say,
I had twins in 2000, so they were 6.
So
right?
roughly just a little younger than Landon is. So very similar situation. He just turned 7.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I have 4 girls. My youngest are the twins. So I had 4 kids when I had the business, and it was hard. It was hard to run a business where you had to be away from home because most of my work is at businesses.
Right.
I used my house as a class, you could do the class at my house, and that was easy. But that was only a couple days every month. Most of it, like coming to your business.
Right, where I've got like 8, 10, 12 people that are going to be here. Like, it's hard to get them all to go somewhere. But you tell them, hey, just come to the gym. We're going to do it here. Like, oh, okay. Yeah,
yes.
That's comfortable.
But, most companies, a lot of companies, they want you do yours on the weekends. But most companies want weekdays early, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and they're in Sacramento or San Jose.
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's San Jose and you're going over the Altamont and you live in Tracy, your kids have to get to school. So you have to make a plan to get them to school. Otherwise, you're saying, I can't do it until I don't have my kids or whatever. But the funny parts would be, when having classes at home, and then my twins would try to kill each other in the middle of the class, shouting and throwing things. And I ended up discounting everybody because I felt embarrassed that I had to stop in the middle and shout. Now, 2 of my 4 daughters are instructors. Well, 3 of them, but one of them isn't. She's a barber now, but because they lived with it. They grew up with it.
They're so comfortable around
it.
Like, they probably could have taught a class by 12. They could all teach classes.
Yeah, they're all pretty.
Yeah, I know some of them. They're all basically moved out, right? The twins are in college with us. Yeah, they're all out.
My youngest twin just had a baby girl. Is married to a Lathrop police officer. My oldest daughter has a little boy. My second daughter is an attorney. She works for the district attorney's office in Orange County. She's deputy district attorney. And then I have a daughter who lives in New Orleans, and she's a barber and yoga instructor.
Just living her best life.
Yep, that's the other twin.
That's the carefree one.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, hard work though, living out of state, no family there. And she runs a business. She has a
That's awesome.
She has a little barber station, and in her own little space like this, they rent a...
Yeah. But it sounds like she's following her passion, which is really cool.
Yeah. She's going to school, studying business while she's doing it.
Right on.
Yeah, she's very driven. She's the one who I thought had ADHD, and she did. But many people outgrow it.
Yeah, I think they either outgrow it or they have what is it called? Executive function ADD, where they're hyper functioning. So like me, I lack executive function. So like I'm very disorganized. I don't want to do the stuff like the gray stuff. I don't want to do
invoicing,
operations,
taxes.
Yeah, all that stuff. Where people with high functioning executive function ADD, they hyper focus on that stuff. They're more on the OCD side. They're super clean. They're very regimented. They're almost overly scheduled and rigid with like their lifestyle. But they have the rest of it. They don't remember people's names. They struggle with...
they can't sleep.
Right, they can't sleep. They have massive energy. They have mood swings. They have all the other things with ADD. You just have the executive function version, which is rare. It's actually rare, but it's more common in women.
Right.
Most boys have the psycho.
The psycho.
ADHD.
Is that a trait?
I think it is, because I think this is something that truly is...
Does your son have ADHD?
I'm confident he does, but I've never gotten him tested.
As if it's a positive thing. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, it is a positive thing, I feel like, because if you know it and you have parents that understand how to nurture it.
Yes. But harder in school.
It is harder in school, but I also don't put a lot of emphasis on school to him. I put emphasis on be a good person, be a good Samaritan, take care of other people around
but
you.
He's 7.
And like, I get it. If like
he's going to be 15 at some point.
Right. And I'm like, I just pass, bud. Like, just give it your all and pass and like...
And then get into the world.
Right. I'm going to show you how to create a business when you're 8. Right? By 8 years
that's
old.
in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But I'm already starting to teach him that, you want money for stuff. You need to figure out a way to provide value. So your chores isn't going to cut it. You have to provide value. Because I know he will thrive as a business owner and like someone in his own world. He is not going to thrive in a 40-hour week.
No.
College degree job.
Many kids, I really think I've always hoped that whoever was in the White House would fund tech programs,
Right.
trade programs, because there's so many kids that do much better with a short-term program, working with their hands, carpentry,
Yep.
electrician, auto repair. But yet they push this 4-year college idea on so many kids instead of saying, listen, trade schools are great. That's the backbone of the US.
Well,
So
AI is
many
about to do
kids
the job for us.
Well, I hope not. Hope
Yeah,
they
I
won't.
think
They
AI
can't
is
do
gonna-
car repair.
AI is going to,
Electrical
what I
work
mean
at
is
your
AI
house.
is going to shrink the college
Mm,
experience because there's a lot of those jobs are going to basically be null and void by the time our kid, though, my son is in
yeah,
college age.
that's true.
However, trades are going to be massive, right? Because you're still going to need
Trades
infrastructure
are
workers. You're
massive
going to
now.
need
Where I live in Texas, we need mechanics like yesterday.
Yep.
There's not enough auto repair shops. And when you talk to the shops, they say, listen, there's no one going to school for it. Unless we train people on site, which is not going to be good for your car,
yeah.
we don't get people. Like, we need people to work because otherwise it takes a long time for you to be having, bringing over your car. Like, I'll say, I need my car fixed. They'll be like, well, next month.
Yeah, I think my wife's car was in the shop for 2 weeks.
Out
More
here,
than 2
there's
weeks?
lots of mechanics out here. And lots of people
Still,
that
it was
work on
like forever
cars.
to get the part, and then it was
yeah.
got the part, and then they didn't even do the oil change she initially had it there for. They didn't fill the tank. They didn't do half the things they were supposed to because they were short staffed. And it's like, I know my son will function better in a non-restrictive environment. So I'm like, I know if this goes for anyone with kids that you're either suspect have ADD or have ADD, especially boys, teach them how to provide value, how to give value, how to create value, because that's the number one thing a business owner doesn't understand right away. And I'm sure you can probably attest to this. You provided a service that was desperately needed. So the value was automatic.
Yeah.
But if you were to walk into this environment today, starting a CPR service.
Oh, it's so hard. And I have people ask me all the time. It's very hard to get started in a lot of these types of business. Say you're going to be a photographer. You could throw a rock and hit a photographer now.
Yep.
I mean, everyone's a photographer. But professionally, I would imagine it's hard to get clients because people they already like, or there's, 100 people around you that do the same thing. And now what I do for business, I teach CPR, but I teach other stuff, thankfully, not just CPR. People who teach CPR classes, there are so many people out here, so many people in my neighborhood, so many people everywhere that it's no longer a niche business. A lot of people, it depends on the region you're in or where you're at.
And I think, but what I want to kind of get at is like the value, right? So like you're in an environment now where I don't want to say competitive because I'm obviously where everyone's trying to get people certified to be able to save a life. However, there's a nature of competition there between business owners for business and clients.
I think it's the way you treat your clients.
Right.
But
there's a value add situation.
There's a value. Yeah. As far as cost value.
Right. Like how do you create a perceived value higher than what you're charging for people to feel like, dang, I got a great deal. And
well, you have to fit their world, right? So if I said to you, listen, I can't do weekends, and I can only do mornings, and it has to be a weekday, and a lot of your people here have jobs.
Yep.
You're not even open. You would be like, I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
You have to be bendy here. Work on weekends, work at night. I have a 24-hour schedule. There's businesses that are open 24 hours and they need classes in the middle of the night. I mean, you have to be flexible if you want to be.
Have you niched down at all to like a more like has structured, with boundaries of like I only work these hours. Otherwise, there's now companies that can offer those things that are niche to.
I don't know, and we're in Northern California where we are right now. And in most places, anywhere. I live in Texas primarily, but I'm here all the time. I feel like I never left, of course. I'm always here. But
it always draws you back.
I'm always here, right? Always on the bumpy roads, always paying higher for gas. But I don't have to register my car here. It costs $70. Thank you so much, Texas. Okay, there are so many businesses. That's what I was getting to. Not every business needs safety training. What I do basically is teach safety. There's a lot of different aspects to safety, and the most recognizable part of it is CPR. Most people will say, what's safety? What do you do for work? And I'll say CPR training. They'll say, oh, I've taken a class like that, whatever. Where we are in Tracy, there's a lot of industry.
Yes, there is.
Okay. There's a lot of big companies.
Like Amazon and
not just Amazon. Amazon
there's
definitely.
Amazon, UPS, Restoration Hardware.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Crate and Barrel.
Yes.
All those are located here. But they have other locations, right? But I could walk into any of them. And if they let me in, but it's big fences around them, right? And say, here's my card if you ever need training. But it's often someone has a good experience. They'll remember you, especially in a company that I've been with for a while, construction company. People leave and go to another construction company and they'll say they need training. Independent instructors like me versus working at a business storefront, independent where I could go to a football field or teach in the middle of the snow or wherever, independent, right? Have a wine party at your house with all your friends and drink alcohol while you're learning CPR, whatever you want to do, it's independent. To know someone like that is unusual because most instructors are fixed to a business and they are not independent where they can provide certifications. All they do is work under someone else. Right?
Got it. So they're
so
not
then
only
I get
but
brought
they're-
to another company, like the wind industry that I do a lot of work with. I was trained by one company that was based here. That company had people leave and go to another wind company, and they brought me with them. And then I just tailored my craft more and more because what they do is pretty unique all over the country. They're the reason why I ended up all over the country was wind and solar, which is taking a hit now with all the subsidies that are changing and being reduced with the current administration. So anyway, I don't really care about other businesses that do what I do. I think if you're a good person, you have clients, you can grow your client base. There's enough work for everybody. I don't need to pull the rug out from anyone. I would never do that. If I come up and say, if I had come to you that day and said, I'm a trainer, you said, I got someone that I like, and I left my card, I'm not going to try to lowball that person in order for you to come to me because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. You know,
Yep.
And I have enough work. I have enough work for my staff. You know, in California, I can't have staff, of course. I can't be independent contractors because California is allergic to independent contractors, even though everyone who does what I do is an independent contractor.
You know, federally, they're like that too. Federally, they're cracking down.
They are, but they're not nearly as strict as California.
No. But when people ask me about independent contractors, I usually go, well, federal, this is what they say. Like, because the first thing, especially with gym owners, they're like, oh, my people are 1099. I'm like, are they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, my accountant said 1099. I was like, are they?
Yeah, if you have
On a
control
federal
over them,
level, if you tell them to show up at a certain time every day and like you're giving them a schedule, they're not 1099. What? It's like,
if they can do the same thing for other people and they do the same thing for, like, I say you're a yoga instructor and the yoga instructor comes here on Mondays and goes to In Shape on Tuesdays and goes to Planet Fitness on Wednesdays, then technically they're independent because you don't control them. You control them on Mondays, but they are free will to work somewhere else.
Right.
And all the people that do what I do, that work under me, I have 15 instructors under me, they're totally able to do their own thing. They can run their own business like this. I don't stop them. I'll process their certifications for them because I can't control them. I can control them, but I can't control them, right? And luckily with what I do for business, for a lot of what I do is dictated by entities like OSHA or the American Heart Association. And so like when I come to you and teach a class, I'm teaching a curriculum that I am required to deliver. I'm not making stuff up. So technically when I send someone to do training on my behalf, I'm not controlling them. They're being controlled by the entity that set the rules to be there early and the equipment they're required to have, and all of them have to own their own equipment. And then, you know, say you were the client and I was sending one of my staff to go do the class. I put an email together with all three of us and you talk to them and say, can you come at this time?
Got it. So you're technically not giving them a schedule, whereas in like most CrossFit group class gyms, like you're telling them, this is your schedule. You're coaching these classes from this time to this time. And that immediately, in the eyes of federal, eliminates them from 1099 because they're not deciding their own schedule.
Right. So if I had an instructor who only worked for me regular, I would have to hire them as an employee.
Right.
But many of my staff work for me twice a month.
Yeah, they just
3
pop
times a
in
month.
and do a class here or there.
They do things on their own, but most of them have jobs.
Yeah, like I got a buddy, I think he still works for you. He's an EMT.
David? Jason. Love Jason. He's trying to go to paramedic school.
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know Jason?
He used to work at CBC Steel.
CBC was my client. That's how I met Jason. Jason was the safety manager.
Yes. So he was the one in charge of the scrap account.
Oh.
And my wife's company had the scrap account for the longest time, Universal Service Recycling. And so I would go to like the community events that he would sign up for at like elementary schools. And I would come from the recycling side of the business. And he talked about the safety and just the general business of like creating new steel and steel production. And so we kind of became friends, like at these, sitting there all day at these events. It's like all these elementary school kids would come through and ask questions and take stickers and stuff like that.
Jason is an example of how when, like, for what I do for work and what you do for work, I speak for a living and I recognize people who speak well and carry themselves well, project well, they don't get ruffled feathers very easily. To recognize someone would be well to be an instructor, and Jason was one of them. I had known him for about 10 years there. And at some point I was like, do you want to teach? What he really wanted to do was he wanted to become an EMT at that point in his life. He quit his job, took an EMT program in his work now. He works for AMR. He works a lot, actually. He works for me, but he's really transitioned where I said that instructors can do their own thing. He's really transitioned his part of that, where he teaches OSHA classes and other
very
things.
Cool. Yeah.
So he works for me maybe once a month or so. He's a fantastic person. I love him, and his wife.
Yes.
They're great people. They're really good people.
He's awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's it's been cool to watch him kind of grow from that CBC role to, I know he's very close to getting into the paramedic world.
Yes.
So.
I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him. Once he becomes paramedic, he'll never teach me ever because he'll be so busy in school. And so that's why I end up having to get more people, because some people move away and some people get a full-time job when they used to work part-time, and then I need people weekdays. And it's hard to find someone that's available on the weekdays almost every day of the week, or I would send you every day of the week, but where I have enough
where they
people.
Plug in to fit.
Yeah, like
each
Jason's
day.
only available on Mondays.
Yeah.
And my daughter's only available on Mondays. It just, if everybody's only available on Mondays and I need a class on Tuesday, then I'm screwed unless I'm here doing the classes. Even though I have so many people that work for me, this job, this business, unless it's your business, there's not enough work to keep you going as a full-time job, and definitely for me to give you benefits. It's just not possible. I'm the only employee of my business because I'm a corporation. I had to have an employee and I'm not an employee. So I pay myself a salary and I pay the payroll tax and all the rest that's required. But no one that works for me is an employee. They're all independent. They sign a contract with me as an independent contractor.
Our companies are very similar. We start with the same thing. I have like 15 coaches, and most of them are part-time. They found a passion for this. They got bit by the bug. They want to give back. They want to coach it, the thing that they fell in love with, and share the passion, and I love it. But it's really difficult to get them to coach more than a few times a week, or to get them to come in and cover, and then you're trying to find people that can just slot into specific days of the week, morning or night, so I get it. We're fortunate that the job has enough work where I can have a couple full-timers that can take the really odd hours, like the mid-mornings and
that's good.
Stuff like that. And then you plug in the rest with part-time people that probably have full-time jobs. So they're either coaching the early mornings or the evenings after they get off work. Yeah. But it's same struggle, right? They move. They get a different full-time job, or they don't have time anymore.
They get married.
They get their priorities changed.
They have a baby.
They have the baby one.
Oh my God, baby screws me so much.
Yep.
I need you to go. I need you to be able to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be gone until like noon. I mean, you're really only doing a 4-hour amount of work, but you may be driving in the Bay Area for 2 hours each way. And I pay well because I assume you're going to be on the road and you have to pay for gas and all that. A lot of places that do what I do, they pay $25 an hour, which is nothing. Imagine making $25 an hour and you're only working for 4 hours and you drove all the way to San Jose.
Yeah, if you're a commuting, I would see.
There's no way I can keep people like that. I have to pay well. And I appreciate my staff. I mean, I tell them all the time that they're wonderful. I love them. I couldn't do it without them. I do a lot of this work myself, but I'm not here all the time. When I go back to Texas, like I am on Thursday, I'm gone for, a week or two traveling, doing travel work. And then I come here for a couple weeks. So, Yeah, it's been good though. I will say though, again, getting back to the ADHD, I would say the special sauce that I have of running a business is because I have ADHD, because my energy is everlasting. It's like my engine doesn't run out of gas. I can run from day until night and then even have a hard time falling asleep. It's just my brain doesn't shut off. And when you need that kind of drive to run a business, some of these people who own businesses have the disadvantage of not having ADHD and they're tired. You know, they put in the work, they put in the work for a couple days or, 8-hour days or 12-hour days. And then you got someone who's got ADHD that has the same business. And of course, we're all in the same passion. Like you are, whether you are a photographer or you own a storefront store or anything, we all have the same passion, but it's whether I will exhaust myself or whether you will exhaust yourself. I will win every time.
Unless I hyper focus, then I'm going to lose. Because if I hyper focus for like 3 hours, I'm done. I'm as good as a unopened can with no can opener.
I do better with deadlines. So if I know I have to finish something by 3:00, I'll actually bust through so much stuff that I can get through because I have a deadline.
Me too.
But if it's open-ended, people will say to me, hey, can you do this thing for me? No time, just take your time. I'll say, just please tell me sometime. Give me a date. Otherwise, I'll never finish it. I'll never do it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If it's due at 3:00, 2 p.m., I'm on it. Yeah, and that 8 hours of work's getting done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, fast. And efficiently.
Yeah, and then I'm shot. But then I'm like, I'm done.
Oh,
like
I'll go.
I hyper focus for like 4 hours straight, like hyper focus, and I'll get like 3 days of work done. But then I'll forget the turns to go pick my son up from school because my brain is just.
That's why you got to use your phone.
Spent.
And set an alarm.
Yeah, because like I'll be like, all right, let's go pick him up. And then I'll be like, how did I just miss a turn I've taken 150 times?
I have a note in my phone. I named it today to remind me of things I have to do today. Look at all the things on my today.
See, that's executive function.
Yeah, but don't ask me. I never get to everything on my list.
I know, but that's executive function. See, because I create lists and I don't even look at them. It's like
sometimes
I create
when I'm
a
on a
list
flight, I'll go through my list. I'll go to the very bottom and I'll try to delete things that are no longer apply. But they're,
You know, like the people that buy a gym membership, they'll buy the $10 gym membership, and it's like, well, I can confidently say I have a gym membership. I never intend to use it, but I can at least say I have one.
Yeah.
That's me with lists. I create a list so I can say I had the intention of doing all these things and I feel really good about it, but I have no intention of ever looking at that list ever again and actually like checking it.
I feel good. Sometimes I'll add things that I've already done just so I can cross it out.
Oh, I'll do that.
To feel like I accomplished it.
I'll do that for the dopamine punch. But like, I create lists with absolutely zero intention of ever looking at that list. Well, with the intention of looking. But in the back of my mind, I know I'm never looking at that list again. Oh. Like that list was more for pomp and stance than it was actual.
Even like us talking, my husband calls it the shiny object or squirrel.
Yeah.
In the middle of talking and something distracts. Like I tell people in classes, it's not because of you, it's because of me. Please put your ringer off.
Yes. Anything
vibrate
outside
or silent.
Of normal environment.
As soon as the phone rings in the middle of talking, gone.
I will. Absolutely
it's gone.
Out of here.
Yeah, I can't do it. I have to be able to have quiet. When I'm in the car, I don't turn a radio on. Yep. Sometimes I'll listen to a book, but if I have to think, I can't have any noise, like homework kind of stuff. Quiet. I envy the people who can play music and listen to headphones. I can't do it. Sometimes I remember, especially when my kids were young, they were so loud in the back, I would catch myself trying to turn the volume down on my radio, even though it had no control for their volume, because I can't focus when there's noise like that, or banging, anything like that. I'll just lose my mind.
Anything outside the normal environment. Like if you're in an environment and it's been a certain way for more than 5 minutes, and something moves out of place, blind flickers from the wind or something, like it's gonna grab me.
Yeah, I'll forget.
Every time.
I'll forget what I'm talking about. What I was gonna say is we're sitting here doing this. This is camera and podcast.
Yep.
I'm sitting here, my foot moving, I'm playing with my fingers. He's super calm. I could be from here up the most calm person, but something is moving all the time. I'm tapping, twisting my hair. I'm doing something where I'm not sitting still. That's just the energy, falling asleep, the restlessness.
Yep.
There's so much that I would like to change, or even just calm some of the symptoms down sometimes. I'm my own worst enemy. But if you understand your traits and tendencies, you can use them as a positive, for sure. I could do 10 things at a time under control. Like I could handle all 10 at the same time, but I just can't fall asleep. I can't remember what you taught me at the gym to do at home.
Yep.
Unless I write it down, and I have to really write it down and probably record you so I can watch it again.
Yeah, visual cues are massive.
I won't
Like you
remember.
can't just verbally tell me
No.
something. I can't visualize it.
Too many choices. I can't do that.
Yep.
You
So
have
let's talk, speaking of tons of choices, raising 4 kids, getting them all successfully to adulthood, now a grandmother of 2, traveling all over the place, still maintaining a fit physique. How does the diet work traveling? Like if someone's new to traveling and they're like, how am I going to manage this? Because it's a pit. It's
really
a trap.
very, very difficult. So first of all, I'm a tiny person, and so genetically I've always been petite. But now hitting menopause, my body flipped me off and said, watch this. When I never worked out my whole life, I hate sweat. I would never have worked out. I didn't walk. I didn't do anything on the gym. And I used to work at a gym. Before I worked at Kaiser, I worked at a gym for 6 years before I started working at Kaiser. And I still didn't work out because I didn't like sweat, right? But now, all of a sudden, I have to walk or do Pilates or do something, right? That's hard. I picked Pilates because I could do it in a hotel room. I could do it in my bedroom. I could do it at someone's house. I don't have to go to a gym. I have a gym membership that's all around the country, but I don't like crowds, and a lot of them certain times of the day when I'm available.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get on a treadmill or Stairmaster. I call it Stairmaster the devil, of course. But I have found that sticking to a couple of important rules help more than anything. Drink a lot of water. Don't eat late. And avoid an overload of carbs, which is very hard when you're driving places or flying a lot, because the easiest things to get are quick things.
Yeah, that's the trap. That's what I was alluding to, is like when you're traveling, it is very rare to find. It's getting easier now. I've noticed over the last year or so, protein focused snacks are becoming more and more easy to find. You've got the wild chips, wild with an E at the end. They have like Buffalo is the most common version you'll see. They have a Nashville hot version. Like they're basically chips made out of chicken.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I've never heard
the
that.
crunch of a chip,
but they're protein.
but they're protein.
You need to tell me that. I need to write that down.
Yeah, wild with an E. I'll text it to you. My son is a massive fan of the Buffalo ones. Like it's one of his like ADD fixations.
I'm really big on the protein boxes at Starbucks because there's Starbucks everywhere. And if I'm really hungry and I don't want to stop at some place that's going to make me feel heavy, I'll get a protein box at Starbucks. And most of the time they have it in stock. Caffeine, I really try to limit it to just the morning because it can really catch you. And then if you have trouble sleeping, you won't sleep at all. There's really not a lot. I mean, not eating late.
That's a big one. I think a lot of people get caught up in that one.
And some people call it, intermittent fasting. It's really just let your body digest.
Yeah,
Stop
I
eating by 5
minimum
p.m. or 6 p.m. and don't eat again
yeah.
until 6 a.m. It's so easy. Just if your tummy is growling in the middle of the night, it's because you're awake.
Yeah.
If you're asleep, it wouldn't growl. And if you're going to get up in the middle of the night, have something watery. Like I hate watermelon, hate it. But something like that in the middle of the night that doesn't have a lot of calories or fat in it will make you feel like you're eating. But some people get in the middle and they eat cookies or a sandwich in the middle of the night. And that's going to work against you. Yeah.
So yeah, I've always tried, especially for the last few years, 3 hours before bed. So like whatever my regular bedtime is, I'm like 3 hours before. I'm traveling, like especially across the country where I'm going to be up late. Because it's like, I'm going from California time there, and it's like Whew, yeah, I already know I'm going to be up to like midnight, 1 a.m., and I land at like, say, 7 p.m. I'll sneak in one last meal
Yes, but if you're
between
going to
the
be
trip
awake
from the
later,
airport to the hotel.
yes, but then delay your first meal
Right.
until like 9 or 10,
Yep.
and you'll still be okay. Yeah.
Yep. And black coffee for everybody out there that's like, oh, how do you drink your coffee? Black. And if you can't stand black, try it iced. I promise you, it's actually easier to take. Because one of the biggest things to me that is like a calorie just crusher is
Milk, half and half.
yeah, it's the milks and the and all of that.
That's my milk for the day though, so I want it. I want half and half in my coffee.
What is for someone that's maybe like, man, I've always thought about going to get my CPR, but I don't feel like I need it. What would you tell someone that maybe is like in that boat of like, should I get it or should I not? Like, I feel like as a parent, I should. And I got my wife to go do it at one of your classes because I'm like, we both need to know if something happens to our son, how to like perform life-saving maneuvers until the paramedics can get there or we can get him to a hospital. Like,
yeah, I would say though that there are certain types of people that are more inclined to do classes, but there's more points in your life that you're willing to do it. If it's not a requirement of a job or a volunteer position and you just want to learn, you will not do it unless it's convenient. You will wait. If you had a near miss, you were with someone who passed away or had a major injury, or someone close to you had an experience and you put yourself in their position and said, if that happened, I think I would have frozen up, you know what I mean? Then you'll probably sign up for a class. If you're on the fence, I'm going to say, listen, if it's not convenient now, there's classes every month and you can just get back to me and I'll let you know. They're always on Sundays or whatever. And I'm not a pressure person. If you want to take the class, I'll get you into a class and I'll get you into the right class because there's different types of trainings based on the jobs that people do. But if you really don't want to do it, I'm definitely not going to convince you because most people are required. And I have enough of those people that if you are on the fence and you're going to, on a busy day, you're going to be like, well, yes, well, no. I'm going to say, listen, I'll give you my information. If you decide you want to take a class, just send me a text and I'll help you out. If you want to do it this month, I'll tell you what I have available. But otherwise, because they're not required.
Yeah.
There are people who do it just to learn. But interestingly, and I probably get one of these every couple of months, someone in a class has gotten through their whole life without ever having a class of any kind. They've never worked at a job that required it. They didn't work in lifeguarding, they weren't in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. In school, they didn't do it. They didn't take some classes. Their baby was coming out of the hospital and they made them learn infant CPR in the hospital. I mean, they made it through the whole life and their job isn't requiring it. They sign up for a class because they think they don't know what to do. But they know everything. You've lived a life. CPR first aid class just reinforces what you already know. Sometimes you learn stuff, but most of the time you just trust yourself, right? Then they take a class and they realize, oh, I didn't kill my kids. I did do the right thing. I do know what to do. I just thought because I hadn't learned it formally that I didn't know what to do, right? I get some people like that, but most people, they have to do it.
So, like, is there any segment of people that maybe aren't in a career that would require it that you would recommend? Get CPR training?
Probably parents. Not even so much CPR. I think infant CPR makes people who have infants feel better because of SIDS. They're always worried that something's going to happen to their baby, even though they are the least likely victim in the history of death. Babies are the least likely for sure. They're watched more closely. They're bendy. They have brand new warranty. Everything works great, right? But you, especially as a first-time parent, are always going to think something's going to go wrong or that they're going to get hurt or someone will take them from you or whatever. So learning infant CPR tends to calm people down, but the most common request is choking. Because they think their child is going to choke, which they will, the baby's going to choke, and that they will die. It takes a long time to die from choking. Most people don't die. Most people don't even pass out. It's very uncommon.
Yeah.
But parents, first aid class would be much better than a CPR class.
Right, because at least I feel like the class is more of a confidence builder. Like you already know what to do, but now you're confident that you know what to do. So like you put the knowledge and the confidence together and you're like, okay, I can navigate this pretty successfully. I feel like toddler parents for sure, because those kids are putting everything.
That's a lot of first aid, And, we get kids who are starting to babysit, they're 13, 14, don't have a lot of life experience
Right.
yet. And so they watch first aid with the eyes open of, I didn't know that you don't put butter on a burn, whereas the rest of us wouldn't do that anymore.
Right.
Or they've never seen a seizure happen. They've never seen a diabetic emergency because they haven't lived a life long enough, unless their parent was diabetic or they're diabetic. And a lot of your safety orientation that everyone has naturally comes from your own life and what you've been exposed to. So say my mother was diabetic and your dad had seizures. Well, I'm going to be really comfortable to recognize when someone's having diabetic emergency and I'm not going to freak out. But if I saw someone having a seizure and never saw it before, I'm going to react totally differently than you because your kid had seizures the whole time until he was 2 years old, which he didn't, but I'm just saying. You'll see someone have a seizure, be the calmest person. Stay back, call for help, because your life experience created that for you. Yeah.
I feel like, especially, you brought up a great one with the teenage babysitters. I feel like you don't know what bad information they've been given by other adults in their life
Or
either.
internet.
Or YouTube and
yes.
Oh my God. And so you want to make sure, especially me as a parent, I want to make sure if I bring over a teenage babysitter from the neighborhood, they know actually how to assist my son who is a
fingertips
maniac.
touching a burn or something that she knows what to do. And she knows when to call you versus when to call for help.
Right. Or when it's you don't even need to call me, you got it.
Trust yourself.
He scraped himself up real good, but to apply
cleaning
stuff instead of alcohol, and to stuff like that where it's you handle it.
And CPR and first aid classes for kids who are going to babysit is great for a business plan because parents appreciate the effort that's put into taking a regular class because a lot of those classes are 8 hours long.
Yep.
And so by showing a card or a picture of a card saying I'm certified is proving more that they care.
Yep.
Because most kids aren't going to want to go to a class for 8
You're in
hours.
for a quick buck.
They're 11. Who's going to want to sit for 8 hours and have to diaper and clean and, they got hurt. What do I do? Watch videos, you know what I mean? And yet, if a kid did that, they paid for it, they passed the class, you'd be like, this is great.
Yeah, I think if a kid
pick two different kids and one of them went to a class and one didn't, unless you know the kid personally and they have a bunch of little siblings and they've been watching them forever, you might be like, well, okay.
But I really do feel like if one kid came up to me asking for $20 an hour and the other asked for 30 and the one with 30 had CPR, I'm probably paying the kid for
$30 an hour?
I'm just, for example, I feel like there's this wide difference in price, but the one with CPR is the higher price. Probably paying the higher price kid.
What do you pay for babysitters?
I don't know. I haven't paid for a babysitter. So
oh, okay.
He either goes to an aunt or uncle's or his grandparents. He doesn't, or he's with us. He just road dogs with us. He just wants to be around us. We're his safe place. So I rarely hire a babysitter, but I would believe, given inflation, since your kids needed a babysitter to now, it's probably a lot. It's probably $20, $30 an hour.
I remember paying. Well, if someone was watching all four of my kids, I'd pay probably $20 an hour. But if it was just my twins, although the two of them together were probably the equivalent of 4 kids, I would pay $10 or $12 maybe. But now I haven't even asked that because I
told my wife, you got to pay them at least minimum wage, which is 20.
Minimum wage is not 20 in California. Food service.
It feels like it's 20. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Healthcare providers are 20.
I'm like, you got to pay them at minimum wage they get at McDonald's. You know what I mean? And that's 20.
But if they're young, they probably appreciate $15 or something like that.
Yeah, but I want them to know I appreciate them, so I'll always.
Unless your child drowns.
Well, we do have a pool.
He's on fire. And
please watch him.
Yeah, that's right.
Please don't.
That's when, I'm always worried if someone's going to babysit, they're going to be on their phones.
Yeah.
They're not going to be. It's one thing to be on your phone when they're sleeping.
Yep.
And you better not sneak your boyfriend in here.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll have a camera or something. Even though I don't have any little kids right now, but.
The last time he had a babysitter, he was 3. Consistently. We knew the boyfriend. So, have him come over. I don't care. He's responsible.
Wow.
I knew he was responsible too.
Oh.
I knew they weren't going to do anything.
Okay. Did you pay both of them?
No, I just paid her because he kind of came over later anyways. He had hockey practice or something. Then he came over after.
Imagine I paid 2 babysitters.
Oh, God. And I came over and it was her friend, and the boyfriend, and my son was sleeping on the dog bed. And I was like, let me guess, he put himself to sleep on the dog bed. They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's him. It's I know you didn't put him there. But like
She's
that's
like,
how he
I
is.
hope he doesn't find out we put him there.
Yeah, that's the ADD in him. Like he will go until he literally can't anymore. And when he was like 2 or 3, he would literally wander the most comfy spot he could find and just like flop down and pass out. Because he would not just sleep. When he wouldn't take the sleep cues that his body was giving, he would fight him until literally his brain took control of his body.
But then waking him up?
No, he sleeps through everything.
Yeah.
Well,
even in the morning when it's time to get him up.
He was usually good about it. He's a natural waker. He wakes up almost every day around the same time. Doesn't matter what time he goes to bed.
He doesn't groan at you and say he doesn't want to get up.
No, he's a morning kid.
Oh.
It's the nighttime where he gets cranky when it's too close to bed and he's like trying to fight it. And I can always tell when he's fighting it because he turns into kind of a little dickhead. So I'm like, yeah, it's bedtime, huh? Because like the witching hour has arrived.
I know. Sometimes I'll stay open. I'll stay awake all night, and the next day I have energy. Like it's weird.
See, I don't have that.
Yeah,
I have a 4-hour
that's a menopause
minimum
thing. You better not have that problem.
Well, I have a 4-hour minimum. I realize I have to get a minimum of 4 hours. So I don't care what I'm doing, where I'm at. I know I have to be up within 4 hours. I'm gone. Like I will literally ghost an event.
If
to go
I
get sleep.
have a limit, like I have to be up in 4 hours and I'm afraid I'm not going to wake up, it will prevent me from falling asleep because I will be so worried about waking up that I won't fall asleep.
I'm not worried about waking up. I'll hear the alarm pop up. I'm more worried about being functional the next day. So like I have a 4-hour minimum. 6 hours is like if I want to be at my best, it's a minimum of 6. 8 to 10, I'm like a brand new person. But like 6 to 8 is where I normally function. If I'm like traveling and I know for a fact I have to like travel the next day and I'm trying to watch especially when I'm trying to diet and lose weight, I absolutely will shoot for 6. But if I pass the 6-hour mark, my cutoff is 4. I don't care what I'm doing. I will literally party.
I know
I'll
that
walk away from everything.
you work out and stuff. I heard that if you don't sleep like 6 or 8 hours, your fat will stay.
Yeah, it definitely hurts your ability to burn fat. It hurts your metabolism. It especially hurts your muscle recovery. If you're not sleeping at least 6 hours and you're feeling sore all the time, like you never recover, it's probably the lack of sleep. Because your body is restoring itself the most when you're sleeping. So like 6 hours is really the minimum if you're working out, if you want to recover, like truly recover from training or whatever you're doing to be right to do it again the next day. 6 hours is really the minimum, but realistically 8 to 9 is what you should be. 7 to 9, 8 to 9. If you're taking your workout seriously and like it matters.
I envy the people who could just lay in bed and fall asleep.
Yep.
As a habit.
Magnesium has been a game changer for me for that.
I take magnesium at night and sometimes it works. Sometimes my body's like flipping me off and saying, you're staying up, grab a book or something because you're not going to bed.
I have days like that every now and then where I'll be like, I'll go to lay down and my brain will just be like, hey, guess what?
Want to remember something from 30 years ago?
Yeah, hey, guess what?
Let's talk about it.
Let's go sit in the living room and watch TV while I tell you all about it. So,
yes, right. But it's not that I mean, there are times where I can't shut my brain off, but most of the time it's actually just that I'm not tired.
No.
And I just lay there looking at the ceiling and trying to rest so my body's rested, but hours and hours and hours just laying there looking at the ceiling and I'm not thinking of anything.
And your brain's
really.
just
my brain just doesn't shut off.
just racing. It's thinking through scenarios and problems and conversations.
I do that. I try not to do that a lot when I'm going to bed because then I'll have to grab my phone and make notes. And as soon as I see the light of a phone, my eyes will definitely not fall back asleep. Yeah. But I did invest in, and this is so random and probably doesn't even matter, but I got a clock for my nightstand on Amazon that has an adjustment for the brightness.
Ooh, okay.
You know, in the middle of the night, most people are just going to look at their phone.
Yep.
To see the time.
I do all the time.
Yeah,
I have to know what time it is before I go
Yes.
back to bed if I use the bathroom or something.
But if my phone, when I turn it up, it doesn't show the time. I have to tap it to get it to
Ooh, then you get the
show.
bright light.
Well, that's not only brightness, but I'm having to wake up enough to touch the screen. So now I have something on my counter that's very low light, but not distracting at all. And I can see the time without having to touch anything. And it's very cute. And it was $20 on Amazon.
Love that. I'm gonna check that out.
$20.
So I want to respect your time. I know we've probably gone over an hour at this point, and it's been an amazing conversation. Is there anything you want to leave the viewers with in terms of knowledge or like quip?
A quip?
Something maybe you've learned that could be helpful?
I probably can't remember the stuff I've learned that's helpful. No,
I think
I
that-
would say, be good to each other. That I was going to write a book during COVID. I, of course, forgot to write the book during COVID, but about how everyone survives because of people. If you see someone who needs help, there's laws that protect you. And even if it's just to tell them what to do or clear the area or something, most people will just walk past. But think about a family member who you heard yesterday was hurt and people just walked past them and nobody stopped. Think about one person who would stop and how much it would meant to you that someone stopped to help. It takes everybody to help. Depends on who you are in the moment, where you are, who you see, what job you have or not. You have a kid with you, whether you give help or not. But, there's no way you can get in any trouble unless you're the reason they got hurt. Just give help.
I know you told us that the first time we took the course, and I was like, that I did not know. I didn't know you could get in, like there were times where you could be liable if you helped and
If it's your
something
fault.
happened. But I didn't realize like that was such a thing but you were also protected from
Oh, yeah.
backlash.
I'm protected as an instructor. If you have an AED, you're protected as the owner of the machine, even if the machine says no shock. You're not protected if you try to hurt someone. Like if you don't like this guy because he's wearing whatever jersey and you don't like the team, and you know that moving him is going to hurt him and you do it anyway because you want to hurt him. That's different than saying, I don't know if I should move him or not. I need to know what to do. Okay, I'm just going to move him because I'm worried. That's different. And he gets hurt by moving him, but you weren't trying to hurt.
Yeah.
You get protected.
So you can't just stomp on some guy's chest and claim CPR.
No.
Okay.
Unless you didn't have arms, maybe. Then you could justify.
Oh, see, all right.
You could justify that you were trying to do something.
It was cold. My arms were in my shirt.
Yeah.
I used my boot.
Yeah. That depends. But anyway, because safety is on my mind all the time.
I can imagine. You lived in that world for a million years. I mean, the ER is all you're getting is reminders of how important safety
Even being
is.
a parent, safety's on your mind.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
That protective instinct.
Well, heck, in
like,
California,
man.
safety's on your mind all the time. You're worried about carrying a big purse going into a store or leaving something in your car. You're on 24/7 here versus when I go to Texas and I leave my car keys on the hood of my car overnight and I come outside and the keys are still on it. My front door unlocked, it's like California used to be. It's literally like California used to be. Just hard here for people. I feel, I'm here for 2 weeks at a time, so I am a citizen when I'm here, but I feel bad for all the people I care about here because I feel like it's hard here right now. You're worried about your car. Someone's going to take your gas out of your car. What's the thing underneath that they try to take out?
Oh, the catalytic converter.
Catalytic converter, and you're about to go drive, and you can't afford to get it fixed. You can't find someone to fix it. It's hard here. And yet everyone's resilient. Like so many awesome people live in California and it's so hard for them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to switch what you know. But like you, I've been around other places, so I think it's a little easier for me. But yeah, I love the affinity to so many cool nature opportunities here. Ocean, mountains.
Oh yeah. And the way it is outside, it's hot, it's cool, it's raining. Out there, it's super hot.
Oh god.
Or super rainy. So
or
everything is bigger
randomly
there.
just freezes.
That's right. And it's not supposed to snow, but it did snow. We had Snowmageddon, but it's not supposed to snow there.
Yep. I was in Atlanta during one of those in January.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Not fun.
No, I rebooked my flight ahead of time knowing everything was going to get canceled. Everybody's, you're crazy. And I was like,
Nope.
oh, look, my flight's canceled.
Yeah.
So.
Snow's not good.
All
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We
Can
finally
we
got
expect
together.
a book?
I
know you can talk about it. Can we expect a book now with some extra free time from retirement?
I don't
or what?
I have free time.
No?
It's because I retired from the hospital. I work there a couple of days a month, maybe. If anyone
Oh,
was
those days
listening
can
from
be
my
your-
job, they'd be like, she's never here.
Those days can be your writing days now.
No. I work every day of the week. So,
Okay.
yeah. You know what? I should drop off to you, and I don't want to say this is a bad company, but some of the things they sell online, they should let you just try it. Stars and honey. They're like what am I trying to say? Little bars.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
There's
And
a lot of healthy bars that are hit or miss. Like they're either really, really
Okay,
good.
but
Like I
they
love
were
Bear
very
Bells.
expensive.
Yep.
And someone will probably like them. And I have 60 of them, 3 different flavors, and they're sitting in my house, and I need to give them to somebody so they can at least try it or enjoy it or sell them.
Like
Maybe
Bear
I'll-
Bells are awesome, but there's
I
a lot
love
of
Bear
There's a
Bells.
lot of other ones that are like, oh.
But Bear Bells have sugar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good, but I like them.
Yeah, if you're on the go though, I mean, it's not going to kill you to have a handful of
I
grams of
have a
sugar.
bunch in my airport backpack. I'll drop off, maybe tomorrow I can drop off those. You guys aren't open here all the time, though.
We're around.
In the
There's people
evening
here a lot,
mostly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just sitting on the shelf. I should make a note of that. Yeah,
All right,
because
well-
someone here will like them.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you
thanks
so much for
having
being here.
me.
And yeah, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. As always, keep digging in.